Hi, I'm Tyler, and welcome to another episode of my Christian Music Week reviews. Each week I take 5 releases, be it LCPs or singles, and after I listen to them all week, I come back here and I review them and I share what I think about them. So without further ado, let's get to this week's first release. Lecrae's new mixtape, Church Clothes 4. Lecrae's Church Clothes 4, the final mixtape in the Church Clothes series. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good mixtape here. Stylistically, definitely a collection of hip-hop bangers here that also incorporate elements of trap, lo-fi, alternative, and gospel elements as well here. Vocally here, Lecrae raps, sings, and sing raps. And also, too, there are some vocal samples as well. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here, too. Lecrae talks about how he was pushed down into depressive doubt about his faith after he was hated, criticized, and canceled by legalistic and materialistic Christians for speaking out about black lives being killed by poverty, violence, and unequal enforcement of the law. But God showed Lecrae that who he really is different than what the hate made Lecrae believe. That the hate can't separate Lecrae from God and has forgiven Lecrae's past through Jesus' healing blood to bring Lecrae up from the dark against odds to unashamedly preach the truth of Jesus without fear of the haters that God victoriously fights against with peace. Like the lyrics on this mixtape for a few different reasons. Like how Lecrae's not afraid to speak the truth on some issues. Also, though, too, like the testament that Lecrae gives on... first, before the testament even, I like how Lecrae honestly describes the season of doubt that he was in, but also the testament to how God brought him out of that. I really like the lyrics here on this mixtape. Up next, Benjamin William Hastings of Hillsong United's self-titled solo debut album. Benjamin William Hastings of Hillsong United's self-titled solo debut album. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good album here. Definitely lots of tracks here. 25 tracks on this album here. Stylistically, definitely an alternative album. Of course, with Benjamin being from Hillsong United, shouldn't surprise anyone that there is definitely strong worship influences here as well, along with folk and pop rock influences. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here. Pretty honest lyrics too. Benjamin talks about how when trials make him weak and make him wander into dark anxiety and depression, God uses the trial to increase the showing of his grace through Jesus' death on the cross and death-defeating resurrection that saved Benjamin from sin's regret by unfailingly keeping his promises to give Benjamin strength to make up for weakness. The faithful will miraculously make a way for Benjamin to keep following God's best purpose all the way to heaven, even when Benjamin struggles to have faith. I particularly like the point on this album, how grace increases in our weakness, and grace is shown by God giving us strength. I really like that point here on this album. Up next, Hope Darst-If's new EP, If the Lord Builds the House. Hope Darst-If's new EP, If the Lord Builds the House. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good EP here. Stylistically, definitely a contemporary worship EP that contains some gospel influences at times. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here too. Hope Darst talks about how when she felt hopeless from trying to build something that ended up in ruins, she surrendered those ruins through praise to the Lord, who is faithfully with her to move the mountains in the way to restore those ruins for her good into something firm. Up next, Bellsburg, the songs of Rich Mullins. Bellsburg, the songs of Rich Mullins, and you can find this album under the artist name Bellsburg Sessions. Let's dive into it. So this is a collection of artists covering Rich Mullins songs, artists including Kevin Max, Amy Grant, Sarah Groves, Andrew Greer, and others. We also have 2 songs sung from the late Rich Mullins himself on here. So let's dive into this album here. So pretty good album here. Stylistically, definitely an acoustically driven release that incorporates elements of alternative, folk, contemporary, worship, and country. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here too. The lyrics here talk about how in this fearful world of troubles, where things look impossible and where selfishness has made us weak, we need to turn away from our worldly thirst and joyfully surrender in faith to follow Jesus, knowing that as we follow his leading to share the gospel of how his love that feels our pain can free us from unsatisfying captivity, God is with us to provide for us all the way home to heaven. Up next, our last release for today, DJ Mykael V and 1995's new album, Bodega. DJ Mykael V and 1995's new album, Bodega. Let's dive into it. So, before I dive into the album, before I dive into my thoughts on the album, let me just say, of course, DJ Mykael V is a DJ and 1995 is a producer, so they don't really do the vocals on this album other than DJ Mykael V talking at various points as he is known to on songs. But we do have some features here rapping on this album, and some notable names in Christian hip-hop too, including No Big Deal, Paris Cariz, Social Club Misfits, and others. Now let's dive into my thoughts on this album here. So pretty good album here. Stylistically, definitely on the lo-fi side of things. I probably wish that not all of the songs were lo-fi, but that's just my take. Again, though, pretty good album here. Vocally here, the guest artists on this album, for the most part, lean more towards the rap vocal side of things. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here. So, even though DJ Mykael V and 1995 don't really do much of the vocals on this album, well, other than, like I said, DJ Mykael V does some of the some talking here at various points throughout the album. DJ Mykael V and 1995 do have a part in writing these songs, so, and it is their album, so therefore, I'm going to state my analysis of the lyrics from their perspective here. And as for the lyrics here, DJ Mykael V in 1995 talk about how even, and again, good lyrics here, talk about how even when they feel low from the industry hate and struggles that they get for teaching through rap to the lost, the truth of how God in his mercy through Christ's blood has saved them from their grave to change them. Their decision to keep faithfully sacrificing in faith the money to follow God's call is worth it, because he keeps providing a way for them to do rap music for him. Well, that's it for this week. Come back next week for 5 more releases. If you like what's on this video, please subscribe. Put out videos every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Also, if you have any thoughts on today's releases or what I may have said about them, let me know down in the comments below. Also, in the comments, you can let me know if there's any awesome releases that came out today that you want to see in next week's video. Also, in the comments, you can let me know if there's any awesome Christian Christmas releases that came out this year that you want to see me review when I start doing Christmas videos after next week's show. Also, check out the playlist section for the Must Bring playlist available here on YouTube and also on Spotify. And this month's edition of the playlist includes songs from artists like Slavster, Winger, Cinderella, White Lion, and others. So go and check that out if you're interested. Well, go now. See you next week. Bye!